Dear Mr. Simpson, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great pleasure for me to once again have the honor to speak at a conference of the Global Landscape Forum. This third Global Landscape Forum, Africa, comes at a good time. Not only are we half the way through a year in which the health of our planet, its biodiversity, and the interactions between humans, animals, and the environment are high on the global agenda. But we are also at the beginning of the UN Decade on Ecosystem Restoration. The international community has committed to responding to this challenge, launching a decade on restoration to counter decades of destruction and degradation of habitats. The German government is supporting this decade through a national campaign and numerous international projects. The start of the UN Decade on 5th of June will be the beginning of a global movement. We must use this window of opportunity to achieve the goals of the 2030 Agenda and observe the natural basis of survival for future generations in ecological, economic, and social terms. It is all too obvious. We need a way of thinking and swift action worldwide, a transformation moving away from systems that harm the environment and society towards sustainable systems. That concerns us all, both in the global north and the global south, even if in different ways. In Germany's development policy, we are firmly determined to move this transformation forward. We are convinced that a world without hunger is possible within planetary boundaries. The topic of restoring Africa's dry lands, accelerating action on the ground is highly relevant for more than 500 million people. Africa's vast savannas, grasslands, and bushlands are some of the most beautiful regions of the world. They are home to amazing natural landscapes with a unique fauna and flora, a great diversity of cultural landscapes with their own specific forms of settlement, farming, animal breeding, and artisan traditions, and last not least, a rich arts landscape and a culture that goes back thousands of years. We have come together today to conserve or restore these natural and cultural landscapes and develop them further so as to ensure they are attractive places for the people living there. Let me highlight a few points that I consider especially important. We are all called upon to take action at once, accelerating action on the ground, as the title of this event puts it. We must redefine business as usual and progress. This may vary from one context to another, yet one thing applies in every case. Holistic rural development strategies such as territorial ecology and nature-based approaches need to play a greater role. What this means is taking a multi-sectoral, integrated approach to spaces, developing good interaction between communities, business, and nature at a regional level, and in particular, building on local knowledge and traditions. Other important issues alongside comprehensive regional planning are, in particular, with regard to Africa drylands, A, increasing regional economic activity, production and productivity, for instance, through agroecological measures or ecological intensification. B, rehabilitation and conservation of resources, for instance, soils, forests, and bushlands. C, adapting measures to climate change using, for instance, diversification and resilient species. D, fair access to land. E, and especially when it comes to the topic of this conference, wherever animal husbandry and grazing come into play, One Health must be an issue, one health of human, of animal and environment. Africa has a chance to learn from the mistakes many other regions of the world have made. Africa can go for modern, sustainable models and methods as it moves its economy and society forward. Such an approach to modern development through conservation and/or creation of functioning regional economical, social and ecological systems is a key to better resilience against crisis and conflicts, especially in times of crisis, which we will always have to deal with. Rebuild better. In closing, I would like to thank the organizers not only for preparing this conference, but I would also like to congratulate them on the extremely diverse and varied program. The comprehensive approach seems to have been perfectly brought to life here, with a broad range of seminars and discussions, a virtual dryland tour and musical interludes, and topped off with a film festival. The stage has thus been set for ideas and inspiration, success and enjoyment. Thank you.